अमेरिका के एक इंतहाई खूबसूरत पहाड़ के दामन मेहोपैक न्यूयॉर्क में औलिया काउंसिल के जेर एहतमाम हुसैनिया, सज्जादिया और खानकाह चिश्तिया फरीदिया का कयाम और रस्म अलम नस्बी का प्रोग्राम मुनक्कद हुआ। प्रोग्राम का इब्तदाई तारुफ प्रोफेसर ताहिरा नकवी ने कराया।
My name is Tahira Naqvi and I am Mehdi's older sister of sorts, and I have been watching him and Shaukat Bhai when they first started talking about this idea of this place, and so I haven't done anything except being with them in spirit and and just hoping and praying that this happens. And I cannot imagine that I'm actually standing here and in a church, and a church has a very, very special meaning for me because I grew up studying at the Convent of Jesus and Mary in Lahore, and I loved the nuns and I loved the time that I spent there, and for a minute it seemed when I walked in here that I had come home. So it's been a very, very nice experience for me. I am just here going to just read a short thing from Rumi, and then I will introduce our speakers who will talk about various things. We will begin with Hadith-e-Qissa, and I think that this is a watershed moment for all of us here in this country, in this place, where we are thinking of multicultural, multi-interfaith gatherings in a place which is a house of God, and so we are doing. It's one house with many rooms, as Rumi says. It doesn't matter which room you're in; it's still part of this house. So welcome, and not a Christian, a Jew, or Muslim, not Hindu, Buddhist, Sufi, or Zen, not any religion or cultural system. I am not from the east or the west, not out of the ocean or up from the ground, not natural or ethereal, not composed of elements at all. My place is placeless, a trace of the traceless. I belong to the beloved, have been to the two worlds, have seen the two worlds as one. And that one call to know, who knows, first, last, outer, inner, only that, breath, breathing, human being. So we will begin with Hadith-e-Qissa recitation by Shaukat Jafri.
Inna Allah wa malaikatahu yusalluna ala nabi ya ayyuhalladhina amanu sallu alayhi wa sallimu taslima. Give me a couple of seconds, please, just to join Sister Tahira. I don't believe her ever that she was really a backbone from the very outset. We were together, try over 4 or 5 of us in this project, which has come to its fruition now.
बाकायदा आगाज के लिए हदीस से किस्सा डॉक्टर अस्करी ने पढ़ी।
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. روي عن فاطمة الزهراء عليه السلام بنت رسول الله قال سمعت فاطمة أنها قالت دخل علي برسول الله في بعض الأيام فقال السلام عليك يا فاطمة فقلت عليك السلام قال إني أجد في بدني ضعفا فقلت له أعوذك بالله يا أبتاه من الضعف فقال يا فاطمة ائتيني بالكساء اليماني فغطيني به فأعطيته بالكساء اليماني.
English translation हैदर काज़मी ने की।
Fatima az-Zahra, the daughter of the Prophet, is said to have related an event. My father, the Prophet of Allah, came to my house and said to me, "Peace be upon you, Fatima." And I replied, "Upon you be peace." He said, I feel weakness in my body. I said, may Allah protect you from weakness, father. He said, bring me my Yemeni cloak and cover me with it. So I brought the Yemeni cloak and I covered him with it. I looked at him and his face was shining like a full moon with its glory and splendor. My son Hassan came in and said, peace be upon you, mother. And I replied, upon you be peace, O light of my eyes and delight of my heart. He said, mother, I smell a sweet fragrance, and so pure as that of my grandfather, the Prophet of Allah. I said, yes, your grandfather is underneath this cloak. Hassan came to the cloak and said, peace be upon you, my grandfather, Rasulullah. May I enter this cloak with you? He said, upon you be peace, my son and the master of my fountain of Kawthar. You are given permission to enter. So Hassan enters the cloak. After a while, Hussein comes. Hussein says, peace be upon you, mother. I said, upon you be peace, O light of my eyes and delight of my heart. He says, mother, I smell a fragrance so sweet and so pure as that of my grandfather, the Rasul of Allah. I said, yes, your grandfather and your brother are under this cloak. He comes towards the cloak and he says, peace be upon you, my grandfather, the chosen of Allah. May I enter this cloak with you? He replied, upon you be peace, my son, and interceder of my followers. You are given permission to enter. So Hussein enters the cloak. After a while, Abu Hassan, Ali ibn Abi Talib, came in and said, peace be upon you, O daughter of the Prophet of Allah. I said, upon you be peace, Abu Hassan, Amir al-Mu'mineen, commander of the faithful. He says, Fatima, I smell a fragrance so sweet and so pure that reminds me of my brother and my cousin, the Prophet of Allah. He said, yes. I said, yes, he is underneath the cloak with your sons. So Ali comes near the cloak and says, peace be upon you, Ya Rasulullah. May I enter this cloak with you? He says, upon you be peace, my brother, my successor, my standard bearer. You are given permission to enter this cloak. So Ali enters the cloak. Then I stepped forward and I said, peace be upon you, my father, Ya Rasulullah. May I enter this cloak with you? He says, upon you be peace, my daughter, O part of myself. You are given permission to enter. So I entered the cloak with him. My father grabs the two ends of the cloak. He raises his right hand towards the heavens and he prays, Ya Allah, these are the people of my household. They are my confidants and my supporters. Their flesh is my flesh. Their blood is my blood. Whoever hurts them, hurts me. Whoever displeases them, displeases me. I am at war with those who are at war with them. I am at peace with those who are at peace with them. I am the enemy of their enemies, and I am the friend of their friends. They are from me, and I am from them. Ya Allah, bestow your blessings, benevolence, forgiveness, and your pleasure upon me and on them. And keep them away from impurity, and keep them thoroughly purified. Then, Ya Allah, God gives us an ayat. He says, Ya, O my angels, O residents of my heavens, verily I have not created the sky, stretched the earth and illuminated the moon, the bright sun, the rotating planets, the flowing seas and the sailing ships, but for the love of these five underneath this cloak. Jibril comes to God Almighty, Gabriel the angel, and says, who are these people under this cloak? The Almighty answers, they are the household of the Prophet. They are Fatima, her father, her husband, and her two sons. Gabriel says, Lord, may I fly to earth to be the sixth of them? God says, yes, you are given that permission. So Gabriel comes. He lands near them. He says, peace be upon you, Ya Rasulullah. The All-Highest conveys his peace upon you and his greetings. And says, by my honor and my glory, this is God speaking, by my honor and my glory, O angels, O residents of my heaven, have I not created the sky, the stretched earth, the illuminated moon, the bright sun, the rotating planets, the flowing seas, and the sailing ships, but for your sake and your love? Allah has given me permission to enter this cloak with you. May I join you, Ya Rasulullah? The Prophet replied, peace be upon you, O trusted bearer of God's commandments. You are granted the permission. So Gabriel enters the cloak with us. And this ayat was revealed. Verily, Allah's desire is to keep away from you impurity and flaws, O people of the household, and keep you thoroughly purified. Ali says to my father, Ya Rasulullah, tell me, what significance has Allah given for gathering us underneath this cloak? Rasul replies, by him who has rightfully appointed me a prophet, by him who has chosen me as a messenger for the salvation of mankind. Whenever and wherever an assembly of our followers and friends mention this event, Allah will bestow upon them His blessings and His mercy. Angels will encircle them, asking Allah the remission of their sins until this assembly disperses. There shall remain none grieved but Allah. There shall remain none grieved, but Allah will remove His grief. There shall remain none distressed, but Allah will dispel his distress. There shall remain no wish seeker, but Allah will grant his wish. Ali said, "We have won and attained pleasure. I swear it by Allah, so have our adherents. They have won and attained pleasure in this world and in the hereafter. I swear it by the Lord of the Kaaba." Allahumma salli ala.
I'm going to ask Bhai Shaukat Jafri Saab to come and talk about the different kinds of things, most importantly, how the idea of something like this evolves. It doesn't just drop from the heavens. This is not a one day of work that produced this. It has been an idea, and from an idea it evolves into something more. And as that happens, things begin to fall in and other people join in, or wo qafla ban jata hai. So Shaukat Bhai will talk to us about the genesis of this. And after that, Mehdi Bhai will also continue with the conversation, because this is a long conversation. We need to know how these things happen.
إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. Let me have the honor of welcoming you on behalf of the board of what we have named, what really our aunt, the mother of Said Mehdi Khan Kazmi, has guided us to do, and Hussainiya Sajjadiya and Khanqah Faridiya Chishtia. This is the location we are inaugurating today, and we are so gratified and grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for enabling us. I would like to acknowledge some people who played a very big role in this effort, in this endeavor. Most of us know each other, getting from Pakistan, India, subcontinent. But people who are here from other communities, we have our Iranian friends and a lady, I must mention, who has been a sort of a role model for me for many years, and who has been for the last 30 years insisting and really telling me that how and why we should have some sort of a facility in Westchester County. I want you to know that in the history of this county, I've been here for 52 years in this county. We call it Hudson Valley region because it's Westchester contiguous is our Putnam County, Dutchess, Sullivan, Orange, and all those Rockland. These. So we call it Hudson Valley County. So in the Hudson Valley County, this is the first center we consider multi-religious, multicultural, multi-faith. It is unique in that respect. It's the first of its kind which is being established over here in this community. Salawat, please. Khanme Tahiratul Azade is one of those people. Is very her son-in-law, Hussain Mahalati, with whom I've been working for 40 years. He was, by the way, the president of Alawi Foundation. Alawi Foundation, ladies and gentlemen, is a foundation which is a charitable foundation which has given millions of dollars to all centers in the United States. And we have worked with the foundation in coordinating their effort. And inshallah, when some problems with the Alawi Foundation resolve, we'll be able to get some help from them as well for this center. But Sunni and Shia centers and churches, synagogues, the foundation has helped them. So it's a great thing. Aulia Mahlati represents that foundation, represented that foundation for many, many years. Now he is doing other things, and a fellow member of the board of Raji School in New York. We have another distinguished guest, Hussainiya. Dr. Kamali is an Iranian, a scholar who taught at Columbia and some other places, a foremost intellect and student of Islamic history in Iran, who's been here for many years. Currently, he is the Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib chair of the at the Hartford Seminary, Dr. Hussain Kamali. Next one is Sajjadiya, Gulchandra Singh, Lamba. Sajjadiya is from is the head of the American Sikh community, S-I-K-H by the way, American Sikh community, and he has a tremendous amount of presence in the United States, in North America, mashallah, and and he is doing a tremendous amount of work and has been involved in these multi-religious interfaith dialogue. I was teasing him that look, we have opened the door for all our Sardar friends. Millions of them already visited Pakistan because of Khanqah border open. I've been trying for the last 10 years to get Indian visa and they won't give it to me for reasons that they are unbeknownst. So we also have our guest, Sayyid Bakhar Shah, who's a Sajjad machine at the Shah Seminary at the Shah Dargah in.
He's not a guest, he's a prominent
He's a now, but he was a guest so probably for some time, but now he's a member of the board of this organization. So that is for the introduction. Let me take a few minutes to tell you, as she calls it, the genesis of the whole mission. This journey that we took in 2017, we were visited in New York by a group of people from Sevan Sharif. Sevan is, as you know, there are many Imamzadeh. The family of the Alibad are buried in Iran, Pakistan, and India. Pakistan has another Lal Shahbaz, Sevan Sharif, Ghazi Sahib in Karachi, Azadi Abdullah Shah Ghazi in Karachi. These are the Imamzadeh. They are the children of Imam Jafar Sadiq, Imam Salam, and so on and so forth. So both India and Pakistan have the honor of having these Aulia Allah there. So this group which came, they told us, and it was right after the horrific bombing which took place in Sevan Sharif in 2017, May of 2017. About 75 people were killed in that. These people came and they said that, look, we are here on the invitation of the State Department, United States State Department, and we would like to really do something. This is because there is no acknowledgement of Sufia Karam, Aulia Allah in Pakistan. There is tremendous amount of this what should I say, this Wahhabi and Salafi tanzeems are hurting us, and they went on to describe the horrible, not only the tragedy, but so many problems that were happening there. So we spoke to them, then we visited the State Department with them, they took us, and we talked to the people in the State Department. There's a bureau in the State Department which is called Religious and Cultural Affairs. So we spoke to them, and we discussed and we at that time told them that first time in the history of this country, we are going to establish a Sufi organization. We'll go into Nasabe. We have a lot of Sunni entities, the madrasa and centers and all that, and national organizations. We have a lot of Shia, madrasas and so on and so forth. But we don't have a real presence in terms of the Sufi organization. So we promised them that we will do this and we'll get back to them. I came back to New York, and of course I contacted my friend whom I known for many years. Our relationship goes for many years. Mehdi's Mamu, Dr. Muhammad Hassan Rizvi, who was the head of one of the foremost and very formidable eye hospital Spencer Eye Hospital in Karachi, and he used to come and visit my father. He was a hunter, so he would come to Sangha and Sevan and Nawab Shah and Bubak, and he would go for hunting. And then at the same time, Dr. Rizvi established these clinics, eye clinics. You know, he was such a great man. That was so Mehdi's family and my family go back for more than 60 or 70 years. So he was the man here, the point man. There was nobody better than Dr. Mehdi Kazmi, really, because he has been reminding me for many years as to how his love and affection for the Sufi Karam, and how he is a real devout and dedicated student of all these Sufiyas which are in Pakistan and India. So we met, we planned, we programmed, and we organized almost 4 years to date. Almost 2nd of September, we had another Lal Shahbaz Day. Sai, you were there also, Bakarsha, and we had that in New York. Almost 100 people participated, Council General of Pakistan and somebody from the mission of Pakistan to the United Nations, and that was a very successful event in which we announced the establishment of the Aulia Council of North America. That the organization, which became the entity with a mission to establish a place. Dr. Mehdi Kazmi took things and ran with it. At the same time, they asked me to go to Pakistan, and so I went there and I spoke at the Sindh television. I went to Sevan Sharif, I went to Hada, I went to different places and discussed, and they were all very encouraged that we are doing something, because we wanted to really let them know that we are going to internationalize, we're gonna Americanize this tasawwuf, the concept of tasawwuf in a real, tangible way. So I must mention the name of a Sajjadiya Sheen, one of the family of the Sajjadiya Sheen, Sister Tasneem.
She was of the Seven Shrine.
The Seven Shrine, and she accommodated us when we visited Sevan Sharif. There was a press conference with the media in Sevan and in all over Karachi, and they were very encouraging. So please, we were very grateful.
This name, the Aulia Council of North America, was actually her idea.
It was her, yeah. May Allah bless her. Let's recite Surah Al-Fatiha for her and for many other mu'mineen, please, who have passed away. So we proceeded ahead under the leadership of Dr. Mehdi Kazmi. We very rightfully so, very logically so, very rightfully so. In every respect, we appointed him as the chairman, giving his credentials and credibility, mashallah, and his dedication to the cause. We appointed him as the chairman of the Aulia Council of North America. Sister Tahira Naqvi at the same time joined us as the Secretary General and as a point person who really kept all the pieces together. As you know, Sister Tahira is a professor of Urdu at the New York University. MashaAllah, she forgot to introduce herself, but I know her for many years. Her late husband, her father, they were all friends of mine, and we just are a close-knit family in that respect. Sister Tahira engineered the organization, and she worked in keeping all the dots together. MashaAllah, did a very good job, and assisted Dr. Mehdi Kazmi, which he needed very much so. And then the real bombshell came to our witness, and Momin, brother of Nadeem, appeared on the scene of this project, and he, can you stand up please, brother Nadeem, what's your first Abraham Nadeem. Brother Abraham Nadeem joined not just in one way, but Dame Darame Sukane. him and Dr. Mehdi Kazmin, they went and really extended themselves in buying this building for close to $500,000 or even more. Am I right? And it's a handsome amount.
And brother, don't forget your own brothers.
Yeah, my brother, younger brother Zulfi Jafi has been involved, and mashallah, so we have one Jafi there in this organization. So we, Zulfi, Mahdi, and Nadeem, the team, which is really working on the finances and all things. And at some point in time, we will talk to you about please realize that. I mean, we must give, whether it's homes or zakat. We must, this is the first and only center of its kind. There are many mosques, there are many churches. I don't know whether Gurdwara Sadati, there are many places of worship. This is a unique establishment. This is unique in every respect. So we want to be sure that we have your cooperation, the cooperation of the community. No church or no place of worship, no mosque can survive without the cooperation of the community. Just to run this place, ladies and gentlemen, is going to cost close to $75,000 or $100,000, right, Randy? It's going to cost that money. So at least for the maintenance and for that, the funds should come in from you. You should at no time hesitate. This is a center where you don't have to pay any toll. You don't have to climb travel through many miles and go to the city or New Jersey or other vicinities. This is it right here. 45 minutes, 35 minutes. Yeah, I mean, this mostly, especially for the community of the Hudson Valley. It's very important place. So we will talk at some point in time about the fund and the fundraising. I must conclude. I am grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for this beautiful gift in the month of Muharram. And we are, as these followers of Al-Bad, these are very special time for us, the month of Muharram and Safar, because Hussain Ali, the grandson of the Prophet, was martyred by the enemies of Islam. It's a very emotional time for us. What can I tell you, some of my friends that you guys go crazy in these 2 months. What happens to you? I said, well, that's what it is. Our love of Hussain. And this is what it is all about. Thank you. I want to thank you, and I'm grateful that you all came, and we'll be working closely with you, talking to you, and communicating with you about this thing. Thank you so much.
Shaukat Bhai mentioned the early days of the Aulia Council of North America, and I just remembered that we had some very memorable meetings there in the Hagoff Kevorkian Center at New York University, which is a beautiful library of Islamic collection of books on Islam. It's the Middle Eastern Studies Department. And I remember Mehdi and I used to talk about another place where we would do this. And I feel a tinge of sadness that, of course also because of the pandemic, that we will not have that as a permanent place, but we can always still gather.
We always have a program there.
Yes. So I'm going to ask Mehdi now to talk about his journey to this place from that moment when he realized that he needed to do something like this. Dr. Mehdi Kazmi.
Salam, Adab, Srikar. It's a real honor to me to stand here and just right off the bat I have to inform everybody that the inspiration for this, my mother and my family, my wife, Karina, Sanjay. Without them, none of this would be possible. They put up with my shenanigans, and so does my mother. I'm sure all of you know my journey through many years. And it's not just my journey. I think this is the journey of all of us who are here from the Indian subcontinent. I think this is what I call a journey from Medina to Mayo Pack. You know, when the Ahl Bayt are compelled to leave Medina and then the Arab lands, and they are compelled to go elsewhere. And that journey ends up in via Baharsar, for me at least, my mother's village in what is now Rajasthan. And then we find refuge here, of all places, in Mayopag. I didn't know that this place existed only about a year ago. I found out about this area and found these premises. And this journey to me is a journey, our journey here, sitting here is a journey for which I am very, very grateful from the bottom of my heart to many, many entities and many people. As I said, my family, my mother, my siblings, and all those people who served as signposts and all those entities who served as signposts on that journey. So they come from the Arab lands seeking refuge, and I'm grateful to the people of Ram, people of Lord Ram, and the people of Lord Krishna who gave us refuge and made us who we are today. On that way, the sadaqah and the guidance of the Imam and all the Aulia, particularly the Aulia of Silsila Chishtia, have served as a guidance to me and as signposts. Khwaja Gharib Nawaz, my Lord, my Master, and Baba Farid, and all their people, and Lama Sahib, your people, Guru Nanak Ji, they have all served as signposts and brought us here. And I think, you know, that thought will keep us going, and the blessings of all the Imamen and the Walis, that's all I can ask for. Thank you.
Of course, in words, the journey was about, 6 minutes long, but it's not that. It's a lifetime journey. And inshallah, many, many more years to come of success. And, I'm now going to ask Gurcharanjit Ji, Gurcharanjit Singh Namba, right? I hope I'm getting that correct. He wants to make a small presentation to the place, the idea, the council.
Shukriya, Dr. Sir. Assalamu alaikum and Sat Shri Akal. I think the verbal meaning is the same. मैं पंजाबी क्योंकि मैनू लगता है कि बहुते पंजाबी विच समझते होंगे। शुक्रिया। सब तो पहले जिहड़ी गल है डॉक्टर साहब मुबारकबाद है सारिਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਤੁਸੀਂ हिम्मत की है, मैं तो यही कहांगा, और खास करके वालिदा दे उन्हां दी ब्लैसिंग्स नाले उन्हां नूं डेडिकेट कर रहे हो। मैनू बहुत अच्छियां लाइनां याद आ रही हैं। प्रोफैसर मोहन सिंह बहुत अच्छे पंजाबी दे शायर होए है। उन्होंने 4 लाइनां लिखियां, कहंदे मां वर्गा कण छावां बूटा मैनू नज़र ना आवे। मां वर्गा कण छावां बूटा मैनू नज़र ना आवे, लैके जिस तो छां उधारी रब ने स्वर्ग बनाए। बाकी कुल दुनिया दे बूटे जड़ सुकिया मुरझांदे, ऐ पर ए बूटा फल सुकिया सड़ जावे। ये फर्क है। सो इहदी कोई कीमत नहीं हैगी। बाकी मैनू बहुत खुशी है, पहले भी मैं तुहाडे विच आया और बड़ा अपने आप को महसूस भी करदा और समझदा और बड़ा ब्लैस्ड महसूस करदा। अज जदों डॉक्टर साहब ने मैनू दस्सिया कि इस मौके दे उत्ते और ख़ास करके हज़रत अली रज़िया ताला अन्हो ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ ਤੇ ਇੱਕਦਮ ਮੇਰੇ ਜ਼ਿਹਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇੱਕ ਬੜੀ ਖਾਸ ਚੀਜ਼ ਆਈ। ਤੁਸੀਂ ਹੈਰਾਨ ਹੋਵੋਗੇ ਕਿ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਇੱਕ ਖਾਸ ਤਲਵਾਰ, ਜਿਹੜੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਆਪਣੀ ਤਲਵਾਰ ਸੀ, ਉਹ ਸਾਡੇ ਸਿੱਖੀਜ਼ਮ ਦੇ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਮੁਤਬਰਕ ਥਾਂ ਕੇਸਗੜ੍ਹ ਸਾਹਿਬ, ਜਿੱਥੇ ਖਾਲਸੇ ਦਾ ਜਨਮ ਹੋਇਆ, ਔਰ ਉਹ ਖਾਲਸੇ ਦਾ ਜਨਮ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਗੋਬਿੰਦ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਕੀਤਾ 1699 ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇੱਕ ਡਬਲ ਐਜ ਸਵੋਰਡ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਉਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਤਿਆਰ ਕੀਤਾ। ਔਰ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਉਹ ਖੰਡਾ ਪਿਆ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਮੁਤਬਰਕ, ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਉਸਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਉਸੇ ਪਲੇਟਫਾਰਮ ਤੇ ਹਜ਼ਰਤ ਅਲੀ ਦੀ ਉਹ ਤਲਵਾਰ ਪਈ ਹੋਈ ਹੈ। ਔਰ ਉਹ ਰੋਜ਼ ਸ਼ਾਮ ਨੂੰ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਗੋਬਿੰਦ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ ਦੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਸ਼ਸਤਰਾਂ ਦੇ ਦਰਸ਼ਨ ਕਰਾਏ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਹੈ, ਰੋਜ਼ ਸ਼ਾਮ ਨੂੰ ਪੂਰੇ ਇਹਤਰਾਮ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਹਜ਼ਰਤ ਅਲੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਉਹ ਤਲਵਾਰ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਦੀਦਾਰ ਕਰਾਏ ਜਾਂਦੇ। ਇਹ ਉੱਥੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਮਤਲਬ ਇਹ ਉੱਥੇ ਹੈ। ਔਰ ਇਸ ਤਲਵਾਰ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਡਬਲ ਐਚ ਸਵੋਰਡ ਹੈ, ਔਰ ਇਹਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਵੀ ਜ਼ੁਲਫਿਕਾਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ। ਨਾ ਜ਼ੁਲਫਿਕਾਰ ਦੇ ਦੋ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ, ਦੋ ਕਰਵ ਸੀਗੇ ਨਾ, ਇਹ ਜ਼ੁਲਫਿਕਾਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ। ਇਹਨੂੰ ਖੰਡਾ ਕਹਿ ਲਓ, ਤਲਵਾਰ ਕਹਿ ਲਓ, ਡਬਲ ਐਚ ਸਵੋਰਡ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ। ਸੋ ਉਹਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਖਾਸ ਲਿਖਿਆ ਹੋਇਆ ਹੈ, 3 ਨਾਂ ਲਿਖੇ ਹੋਏ ਹੈ। ਇਹ ਤੋਹਫਾ ਹੈ हजरत अली, हजरत हुसैन, हसन एंड हुसैन। एक तोहफा उन्होंने का लिखा हुआ है। Sure. So this is the sure. So this sword, how it came into the possession of Sikhs and Guru Gobind Singh Ji, it came directly from Guru Gobind Singh Ji to that place. How it came, this is very historical, and evidence is there that Guru Gobind Singh Ji had 4 sons. 2 were martyred. One was 15 years and another was 17 years old, Baba Ajit Singh and Jujar Singh. So they were martyred in Chamkaur, those 2 sons. And the younger sons, they were 5 and 7, they were bricked alive by Wazid Khan of Sirhind. They were bricked alive. And after that, because it was at the behest of Aurangzeb, so then Guru Gobind Singh Ji wrote a letter to Aurangzeb, and that letter is beautiful piece of Persian poetry also. This is called Zafarnama, and he doesn't complain. Guru Gobind Singh Ji doesn't complain to Aurangzeb about what has happened to his sons, his mother, his father, because all have been murdered at the behest of Aurangzeb. Now what he is writing to Aurangzeb, that is very interesting, very inspiring, and especially in the month of Muharram, if you correlate that, the letter which he is writing, he is saying Kamale Karamat Qaim Kareem Raza Baksh Razak Rihakun Rahim. Still, under these circumstances, he has lost the entire family, everything he has lost, and then he is writing to Aurangzeb, Kamale Karamat Qaim Kareem, Raza Baksh Razak Rihakun Rahim. And he is saying, Tura agar nazar hast lashkar wazar, wa mara nigah hast yazda shukar. Then he says, Ke ura garur hast barmul ko mal, wa mara nigah hast yazda ka. And then he goes on, Jihad shud ke chun bachchagan kushta char ke baki mamadast pechida mar. He is writing it, and then he is telling Aurangzeb that the Aurangzeb word doesn't suit you. You should change this word from Aurangzeb to Farid. That is what. Because what you have done to your brothers, to your fathers, to everyone, so you will also be answerable for everything. And then he says, Humara kase sai ayat bazer baro dast darad na zage delev. So this was the spirit. And after that, when for the succession, there was dispute between the brothers Bahadur Shah and his brother. Then Bahadur Shah requested Guru Gobind Singh Ji for help. And the Jajo's battle, it is recorded in all the history books of that time, must go through that. Now the Jajo battle, Guru Gobind Singh Ji asked 300 of his followers to go and help to the help of Bahadur Shah. Then somebody asked Bahadur Shah that you have 200,000 forces, the other side have also this equal number of forces, what these 300 are going to do? He said, they have Ruhani Takat. These are the words. They have the spiritual power is there, and that is why he is there. And the rest is the detail, but the battle came in favor of Bahadur Shah. He was on throne, and this sword was in the possession of Khalifas of Baghdad, and they had given it to Aurangzeb. From this it came to Bahadur Shah, and then Bahadur Shah after that gifted this sword to Guru Gobind Singh Ji. And at Takhat Sri Kesgarh Sahib, Takhat is throne, it is kept at that throne. There are some weapons there of Guru Gobind Singh Ji and other weapons, and every evening, so they show, these are displayed to the audience, to the public. So this is the brief history of that. And on this, there are 4 inscriptions. One is the Kalma, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, that is written. And then it is written about, there is no one as brave as Hazrat Ali, and there is no sword as powerful as this sword, and this is the sword which is there. Now, in the end, I'll say, if you happen, I don't know whether you get the opportunity to visit and have the dar of the weapons of Hazrat Ali there, but this is nearest to you. It is in Ropar. Yeah. So it is there in Kesgarh Sahib near Chandigarh. You can have, and it is for 1300 years. This is 1300 years old, but for the past 350 years it is kept there at Kesgarh Sahib. The last thing which I will say, the Sikhs have preserved it, and they have kept it at equal footing of Guru Gobind Singh Ji's weapons. Now Guru Nanak Dev Ji has also visited Baghdad, and this was the place where he had the long conversation with Pir Dastagir of Baghdad. It's a long and a beautiful conversation. Just one stanza of that I will definitely like to share with you. Guru Nanak Dev Ji was told that the Khuda can do anything. Rabb can do anything which he wants. He can do. Guru Nanak Dev Ji said, I don't agree. There was commotion. What are you saying? That is the basic belief that whatever God, whatever Allah wants to do, He can do. Now you say that you don't agree. Then they said, you have to answer this. What is the thing which the God Himself wants to do, He cannot create? You will have to answer this. Then Guru Nanak Dev Ji smiled and he said, if you ask Khuda, can you create another Khuda? The answer will be no. So this is the Vahdiyat to the extreme. There's nothing and only the God. So the only thing which I have a feeling that in Baghdad, some years ago, there was a place, there was an inscription, there was a stone which had that inscription of Guru Nanak Dev Ji visit to that place, but now we have learned it has been destroyed. So if you can do that, also a part of this, if you can recreate that, at least that marking at that place, if that can be done, that will be the biggest gesture. So this is my humble request to you. So, and in the end, I respectfully, I really appreciate the efforts done by everyone for this beautiful place. You have not converting but evolving it, and that's the greatest thing. So thank you very much. Great. Thank you.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Can I speak in Urdu? It's not that I can't speak English, but I have to send to my family back home. And I belong to a village, and people are so excited to see over there because you know how Shias and Sunnis are fighting everywhere. So the idea is to bring everybody closer so that we can understand each other's beliefs. And जैसे यहाँ पे आते हैं हम लोग, तो क्रिश्चियंस हमें यहाँ पे रखते हैं, हम नेशनैलिटी ले लेते हैं, यहाँ से हम असाइलम अप्लाई कर लेते हैं. तो दुनिया जहान से आने वाले मुसलमानों को अगर काफिर एक्सेप्ट कर सकते हैं, तो हम मुसलमान एक दूसरे को एक्सेप्ट क्यों नहीं कर सकते? सवाल सिर्फ इतना है. और इसी जज्बे को लेकर मेरी पहली मीटिंग जब काज़मी साहब के साथ हुई, मैंने काज़मी साहब जितना कमिटेड किसी मिशन के साथ बंदा अपनी ज़िंदगी में नहीं देखा. यू कैन ओनली इमेजिन कि हमारे कितना मुश्किल ये स्टेप था. बाहर से हर इंसान के फाइनेंशियल्स बहुत अच्छे नज़र आते हैं, और दुनियादारी का तकाजा भी यही है कि हमें अपना एक रख रखाव रखना होता है. अच्छे से अच्छे कपड़े पहनेंगे, अच्छे से अच्छी गाड़ी, और अच्छे से अच्छा बिजनेस दिखाने की शो करते हैं. लाइक अगर मेरे पास एक फार्मेसी है तो आई ओन मल्टीपल फार्मेसीज, तो ब्रैग करते हैं ना अपने आप को. लेकिन अंदर हमारे पास क्या होता है ये हम जानते हैं या हमारा रब जानता है. जब हमने ये मिशन स्टार्ट किया तो काज़मी साहब और मैं, ऑफ कोर्स हमारे साथ टीम थी, जाफरी साहब की, और सारे लोग, सपोर्ट तो सबकी थी, लेकिन कोई पर्दा रखे बगैर मैं बता रहा हूँ कि हम दोनों के फाइनेंशियल ऐसे नहीं थे कि हम $500,000 की प्रॉपर्टी को बाय कर सकते. देयर वर मैनी टाइम्स जब मैं और काज़मी साहब थक जाते थे और कहते थे कि अल्लाह काश हमारे पास कैश होता तो हम इसको बाय कर लेते. पहले हम SBA के थ्रू गए, SBA ने लोन डिनाई कर दिया. प्राइवेट डॉक्टर साहब के भी घर पे मॉर्गेज है. अब US के रहने वाले आपको तो पता है, मेरे नाम पे भी मॉर्गेज है. जब ऑलरेडी एक मॉर्गेज हो तो एक कमर्शियल प्रॉपर्टी की मॉर्गेज कौन देगा आपको? हम दोनों ने इस स्टेप के अंदर बहुत ज़्यादा स्ट्रगल किया है. आई वुड से बहुत सारे टाइम्स ऐसे थे जब हमें SBA ने हमारा लोन डिनाई कर दिया. काज़मी साहब एंड आई हैड नो अदर ऑप्शन. बताने का मकसद ये है कि चीज़ जब बन जाती है उसके पीछे स्ट्रगल को बताना. अब इस वक्त हमने ये जो लोन लिया इसको जगह को लेने के लिए, वो हमने एक ट्रेडिशनल लोन से हट के हमें हार्ड कैश के ऊपर लोन लेना पड़ा है. और आप इमेजिन कर सकते हैं कि हार्ड कैश के ऊपर इंटरेस्ट का रेट क्या होता है. लेकिन अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह हम कॉन्फिडेंट थे. काज़मी साहब हमेशा कहते थे, मैं तो नया हूँ, आप लोगों ने पहले मुझे देखा भी नहीं होगा, काज़मी साहब हमेशा कहते थे बरार भाई आप फिक्र ना करें. दैट्स ऑल ही सेज. मैं हमेशा कहता काज़मी साहब कैसे होगा? अरे बरार भाई छोड़िए मैं कर लूँगा. मैं कहता अरे कैसे कर लेंगे आप? अरे मेरी फैमिली है ना, मैं अपनी फैमिली के पास जाऊँगा, मैं जैराबाजी के पास जाऊँगा. मैं बता रहा हूँ, आ रहा हूँ उस तरफ. जी जी I'm coming to that point, डॉक्टर साहब. Give me a second. डॉक्टर साहब एक ही बात कहते थे, अबरार भाई जैसे कैसे कर लें, हार्ड लोन ले लें, कुछ भी कर लें, एक दफ़ा जगह बना लें. मुझे मेरी फैमिली और मेरे फ्रेंड जो मुझे जानते हैं और जो अहले बैत के साथ मोहब्बत रखने वाले हैं, مجھے ایک دفعہ ان کو اس جگہ پہ بلا لینے دیں، جب وہ آ جائیں گے تو آپ کو فائنینسز کی فکر نہیں ہوگی۔ اب سے کہ آج وہ وقت آ گیا، کاظمی صاحب نے اپنے چاہنے والوں کو یہاں پہ بلا لیا، آپ لوگوں کے سامنے ایک چیز تیار ہے، اب ہمیں آپ کی سپورٹ کی ضرورت ہے۔ اس پوائنٹ کے اوپر اگر آپ نہیں کریں گے تو کاظمی صاحب کا دل ٹوٹے گا۔ میں نیا بندہ ہوں، میں تو ان سے کہہ دوں گا کہ آپ کے دوست آئے تھے، آپ کی فیملی آئی تھی، میں آپ کو کہنا بلیک میل کر رہا ہوں، صاحب سے بتا رہا ہوں۔ ہمیشہ مجھے کہتے تھے کہ میری فیملی اور میرے دوست آئیں گے، ابرار صاحب آپ فکر نہ کریں۔ آج آپ سارے ہیں، دل کھول کر اس میں کنٹریبیوٹ کیجئے۔ یہ اس کے ساتھ دیکھیں، میں اس کو سم اپ کرتا ہوں، بہت ساری چیزیں اس کے ساتھ اٹیچ ہیں۔ مان جی کی خواہش تھی خانقاہ سجادیہ بنانے کی، یہاں پہ خانقاہ حسینیہ سجادیہ بنانے کی مان جی کی خواہش تھی۔ اب حسین کا نام آئے گا تو کوئی سنی ہے، کوئی شیعہ ہے، کوئی وہابی ہے، کوئی کیا ہے، دل کیسے نہیں دھڑکے گا۔ میں آپ کو بتاتا ہوں، میں کسی سیکٹ میں بلیو نہیں رکھتا، میں کہتا ہوں ہم سب مسلمان ہیں۔ ہم اپنے آپ کو ایک ہائر ڈیزگنیشن سے ہٹا کے چھوٹی ڈیزگنیشن کے اوپر کیوں لے کر جائیں؟ جب ہم مسلمان ہیں تو اس کے اندر آ جاتا ہے۔ کوئی بندہ حسین کی محبت رکھے بغیر مسلمان رہ سکتا ہے؟ جو مولا علی کرم اللہ وجہہ کی محبت نہیں کرے گا، کیا وہ مسلمان رہ سکتا ہے؟ سیدہ کائنات سیدنا فاطمہ زہرا کی محبت کے بغیر مسلمان رہ سکتا ہے؟ امام حسن علی مقام کی شہادت کو سمجھے بغیر مسلمان رہ سکتا ہے؟ نہیں رہ سکتا نا۔ تو ہم مسلمان ہیں۔ مسلمان ہونے کے لیے ضروری ہے کہ آیت تطہیر کو سمجھا جائے۔ آیت تطہیر کو سمجھتے نہیں تو بندہ بولے میں مسلمان ہوں، کیسے مسلمان رہے گا؟ ہم سارے، اگر میرا بیٹا، جو بندہ میرے بیٹے کے ساتھ محبت نہیں رکھتا، تو ہیلپ ود ہم، کوئی بھی ہو، ہو کیئرس، میرا سینئر ہوگا، میں لعنت بھیجتا ہوں اس کے اوپر۔ میرے بیٹے کے ساتھ محبت نہیں کرتا، میری بیٹی کے ساتھ محبت نہیں کرے تو میں تعلق رکھوں گا اس کے ساتھ۔ میرا نواسہ میری فیملی کے ساتھ محبت نہیں رکھتا تو میں تعلق نہیں رکھوں گا۔ تو کیا اللہ کے نبی کے گھرانے کے ساتھ محبت رکھے بغیر کوئی بندہ سوچے کہ میں اللہ کے نبی کے ساتھ تعلق رکھ سکتا ہوں؟ از اٹ پریکٹیکلی پاسبل؟ اب اپنے آپ سے پوچھئے۔ اور پھر ہمیں مثال دی جاتی ہے کہ اللہ کے نبی بڑے بردبار تھے، بڑے تحمل والے تھے۔ ارے باپ تھے وہ، نانا تھے وہ، نہیں تھے کیا؟ باپ کے جذبات کو وہ ختم کر سکتا ہے؟ کوئی کر سکتا ہے؟ صرف ایک ہی مقام کے اوپر ماں کی والدین کی محبت جو اللہ نے قرآن میں بتائی، جب موسیٰ علیہ السلام کی والدہ کے دل سے ان کی محبت کو اس وقت اس جذبے کو ختم کیا گیا تاکہ فرعون اس محبت کو نہ دیکھ سکے، ورنہ اس کے علاوہ باپ کا جذبہ کبھی بھی ختم نہیں ہو سکتا۔ ختم ہو سکتا ہے؟ نہیں ہو سکتا۔ میں آپ سے یہ کہوں گا، آپ سب لکی ہیں، بہت خوش قسمت ہیں۔ جعفری صاحب نے بتایا یہ اپنی کائنڈ کا ایک الگ سے انسٹیٹیوٹ ہے۔ یہاں پہ اہل بیت کی محبت کے کیا کہوں گا کہ فوارے ہوں گے۔ آپ آئیں یہاں پر، جتنا دل سے چاہیں انجوائے کیجئے، یقین جانیں آپ ابھی ہمیں شاید سمجھیں گے دیر کے ساتھ، ابھی چھوٹے ہیں ہم، لیکن انشاءاللہ یہ جگہ انشاءاللہ اللہ نے مجھے، کاظمی صاحب کو اور ہماری ٹیم کو اگر زندگی دی اللہ پاک نے، تو ہم اس کو پورے امریکہ کے اندر ایک ایسا مرکز بنا کر دکھائیں گے اور ہم بتائیں گے کہ عاشقین اہل بیت کام کیسے کرتے ہیں انشاءاللہ۔ میں نے بتایا، مجھے نہیں پتا مجلس کا، میں کاظمی صاحب سے اکثر کہتا ہوں کہ میں دوسری پارٹی کا بندہ ہوں لیکن ووٹ آپ کو دیتا ہوں۔ I always tell him, like they made me do this alam, so I was telling him, I don't know about these traditions, but I'll do anything for Hazrat Ali. I love him. میرا نام جو ایکچوئل میرا نام ہے ابرار احمد ندیم، لیکن میرے اس نام سے میری انڈسٹری کے اندر، میری فیلڈ کے اندر، ایون کاظمی صاحب کو بھی 2 سال تک میرا نام نہیں پتا تھا۔ He knows me by Ali. اس انڈسٹری کے اندر میرا نام علی ہے۔ I chose to be Ali. You know why? جب آپ سنی ہوتے ہیں نا، الحمدللہ میں بڑا کٹر سنی ہوں، نو ڈاؤٹ اباؤٹ اٹ۔ شیطان ہے نا، گندا بندہ ہے، اس کو ہمیں ناکام کرنا ہے نا، کامیاب تو نہیں کرنا۔ شیطان کوشش میں لگا ہوا ہے نا، ہمیشہ دل میں ڈالے گا کیا، اس کو پتا ہے کہ بھائی قرآن کو مانتا ہے، حدیث کو مانتا ہے، سارا مانتا ہے، لیکن ایک جگہ پہ وہ مس کرواتا ہے۔ کیا کرواتا ہے؟ اہل بیت کی محبت کے اوپر ٹنڈی مارتا ہے۔ मैंने अपना नाम ही अली रख लिया, कॉल मी अली, तो नफरत कैसे आएगी अली से?
क्या कहने?
बात है ना जी, नाम ही अली रख लिया। डॉक्टर साहब से पूछ ली, 2 साल तक मेरा नाम अली पता था इनको। Until I met him, I told him my name. He knew it's Ali. अपने बच्चों का नाम अहले बैत के नाम पे रखिए, शैतान से बचाइए, और इस दर पे नाम पे रहेंगे, इस नाम के साथ रहेंगे, इंशाल्लाह ईमान वाले रहेंगे, ईमान से बाहर नहीं जाएंगे। ठीक है जी, इंशाल्लाह ताला फिर आपसे मुलाकात रहेगी, इसी तरह के प्रोग्राम करते रहेंगे इंशाल्लाह। अल्लाहुम्मा सल्ली अला मुहम्मद व आले मुहम्मद।
So that was extremely moving. Majlisi ho gayi. So I'm going to ask Tahira Khanum Ayatullah, she here,
Yes, yes. Alhamdulillah.
to come and say a few words, please.
माइक थोड़ा एडजस्ट कर लें
Assalamualaikum.
जी।
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Tahira and my last name is Ayatullah Zadeh, and I have been involved with Aulia Shaukat Jafari. It has been a dream for me to have a Shia center in Westchester. I'm sorry, I'm not prepared to talk, and I'm so happy that my dream has been fulfilled. So to finish my congratulations to brother Shaukat Jafari and the others, I just would like to do the ziyarat Imam Hussain, a small ziyarat Imam Hussain for the Mary Father. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alayka ya Abu Abdullah. Assalamu alayka ya ibn Rasulullah. أشهد أنك قد أقمت الصلاة وآتيت الزكاة وأمرت بالمعروف ونهيت عن المنكر وأشهد أنك سفكوا دمك واستحلوا حرمتك والعيون وعذبون على لسان داوود وعيسى بن مريم ذلك ما عصوا وكانوا يعتدون. I think this says why Imam Hussain did that. Really. He gave everything in God's way. I hope that the blessing of this dua.
Say a few words.
Yes, I hope that the blessing of this dua would be for everyone. Thank you very much. I am sorry again. If I knew that I was going to talk, I would have prepared myself. I hope you all. I apologize for this.
So I'm going to ask
Assalamu alaikum, Ya Ali Madad, Sat Sri Akal and Namaste. I think it's an honor, as always, to be a part of Aulia Council, being a servant of the shrine of Shah Abdul Latif Bhai of Sindh, Pakistan. Mehdi Bhai, Shaukat Bhai, and the team of Aulia Council chose me to be a member of this prestigious organization. दो बातें मैं आज छोटी छोटी, क्योंकि बहुत लंबी बातें हो गई हैं और मुझे पता है आप सब कर भी गए होंगे। हाँ सही, कुछ बात उर्दू में भी कुछ इंग्लिश में भी मिक्स करूँगा मैं, उर्दू भी समझेंगे आई एम श्योर लिटिल बिट, ऑल ऑफ यू विल अंडरस्टैंड। आज अलम की यहाँ जो हमने नसब किया, थोड़ी सी उसकी हिस्ट्री मैं बात करना चाहूँगा उसमें। ये वो अलम है, दिस अलम which we are talking about today, जो यहाँ लगा है, वो that अलम is the flag of Islam. अमेरिका का अपना फ्लैग है, पाकिस्तान का अपना फ्लैग है। पाकिस्तान का फ्लैग यहाँ नहीं लगा सकते, अमेरिका का फ्लैग वहाँ नहीं लगा सकते, एक्सेप्ट कि वो एम्बेसीज हों, कॉन्सुलेट्स हों, जो कि उनकी प्रॉपर्टी होती है। लेकिन ये अलम सारी दुनिया में लगा हुआ है। और ये इसकी जो इस्लाम से हिस्ट्री है, इस दैट ये वो अलम है जो रसूलुल्लाह सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम ने हज़रत अली को दिया। और जब दिया था तो बताया था कि ये जो चादर है ये फातिमा की वो किस्सा है, जो हदीस किस्सा आज पढ़ी है हमने, ये वो फातिमा की चादर है जो उस अलम पे लग रही है। और वो चादर जो है उसका जो रंग है वो वही कलर है जो ऑफिशियली इस्लाम का कलर है, जो कि खाना काबा का कलर है, और वो ब्लैक है। और वो चादर अली को जब वो अलम दिया गया कि आप ये फ्लैग बेयरर की हैसियत से इस्लाम का ये अलम लेके आगे चलेंगे, और वो अलम करबला में ट्रैवल करता करता गाज़ी अब्बास तक पहुंचा। और गाज़ी अब्बास जब वो 4 साल की बच्ची इमाम हुसैन की जो प्यासी थी, जिसकी आज शहादत है 4 सफ़र, और वो अलम के साथ आप देखें कि वो मशकीज़ा लगा होता है, निशान होता है। वो मश्क का मतलब भी ये है कि वो बीबी सकीना के लिए पानी लेने गए थे, क्योंकि लड़ने की तो इजाज़त नहीं थी। क्योंकि जब उन्होंने इजाज़त मांगी तो कहा कि अपने ये सब जो आपने पहने हुए हैं जंग के जो साज वो सब उतारिए। तो सर से उन्होंने लोहे का वो उतारा, जिस्म से उन्होंने वो सारी चीज़ें उतारी। उसके बाद बग़ैर तलवार के वो मशकीज़ा लेके गए, और जहाँ उनके बाजू कलम हुए, जहाँ वो मशकीज़ा भी शहीद हुआ, पानी भी बह गया, और गाज़ी अब्बास भी शहीद हो गए। इसलिए इसको मंसूब किया जाता है कि गाज़ी अब्बास का अलम, लेकिन एक्चुअली ये इस्लाम का अलम है। चूँकि वो गाज़ी अब्बास तक पहुँचा करबला में, तो इसलिए ये बात की जाती है। तो हम आज वो अलम नस्ब कर रहे हैं इस स्पिरिचुअल सेंटर में, जो कि हुसैनिया सज्जादिया, जो कि अम्मी की दुआएं हैं, उससे ये बुनियाद रखी है। लेकिन इसकी क्या ज़रूरत है? Why do we need a spiritual center? There are a lot of mosques, there are a lot of churches, there are a lot of gurdwaras. All of them are doing their work. So why talking about spiritual thing? What is the importance of it? आज हम बहुत तरक्की कर रहे हैं, इंटरनेट, आज तो स्पेस में आर्मी बनने की बात हो रही है। There is a space force announced by America. But अपनी वैल्यूज़ को अगर हम चेक करते हैं तो क्या हमने तरक्की की है? और आर वी डिक्लाइनिंग? सच्चाई, वफादारी, बड़ों का एहतराम, खलूस, नेक नियति, क्या वो तरक्की किया है उसने? क्या हम अपने बच्चों को वो वैल्यूज़ दे पा रहे हैं जो एटलीस्ट हमें मिली थी? अगर नहीं तो समथिंग इज गोइंग रॉन्ग, कुछ तो गलत हो रहा है ना। तो मुसलमान की हैसियत से मुझे सोचना है, सिख की हैसियत से आपने सोचना है, हिंदू की हैसियत से आपने सोचना है, और दूसरे मज़हबों के अपने भाइयों को इसमें इन्वॉल्व करना है। अगर हमने अपने अपने मज़हबों को सिर्फ कमाने का ज़रिया बना दिया है और सिर्फ उसको सियासत में इस्तेमाल करने के लिए पॉलिटिक्स में इन्वॉल्व कर दिया है, जिसकी वजह से हम आज सब बटे हैं। हम मुसलमान भी 72 और बड़े फ़ख्र से बताते हैं। जब शाह अब्दुल लतीफ़ बिटाई से किसी ने पूछा कि आप शिया हैं या सुन्नी हैं, क्योंकि उनका विरद एक ही था, हुसैन या हुसैन। कलंदर शहबाज का विरद एक ही था, या अली। और लतीफ़ साईं के ये 2 दरगाहें मशहूर है कि ये शिया दरगाह। लेकिन लतीफ़ साईं की दरगाह पे जो अलम लगा हुआ है वो एक सुन्नी खातून ने लगाया, माइगुना, और वो आज भी सुन्नी है अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह। और उन्होंने अपने सारे जेवर बेच के वो 85 लाख का अलम बनाया, 110 फुट का। तो लतीफ़ साईं ने कहा मैं तो ना शिया हूँ ना सुन्नी हूँ। तो कहा फिर आप कौन है? कहा मैं तो दोनों के बीच में हूँ। कहा बीच में तो सरकार कुछ भी नहीं है। कहा मैं भी कुछ भी नहीं। तो हमें वी हैव टू थिंक आउट ऑफ द बॉक्स। हमें थोड़ा सा अपनी सोच को चेंज करना पड़ेगा। स्पिरिचुअल सेंटर इसलिए बनाया कि हम शिया सुन्नी, तो इब्रार भाई ने बात बड़ी खूबसूरत की ना कि ये कनेक्शन की बात है। लेकिन इब्रार भाई हमें ज़रूरत, आपने तो हमें वोट दिया, वी ऑनर्ड, लेकिन जो हमें वोट नहीं देते वो भी हमारे भाई यहाँ आएंगे, वो भी यहाँ बैठेंगे, ये उनकी जगह है। दिस इज द स्पिरिचुअल प्लेस विच बिलोंग्स टू एवरीबडी, एंड वी want to tell the world that we own Guru Nanak Sahab. We own Ram. We own Jesus. We own Hazrat Musa alayhi salam. अभी जो ज़ियारत पढ़ी गई उसमें जीसस का नाम, the ज़ियारत which was read right now, ज़ियारत इमाम हुसैन, the name of Jesus was called, बीबी मरियम का नाम was called. तो we should understand हम कितने लोग हैं जो घरों में बाइबल, तौरात, ज़बूर, इंजील इकट्ठे रखते हैं कुरान के साथ. हम बड़ी आसानी से कह देते हैं ये वो बाइबल नहीं है. अच्छा, बड़े स्मार्ट हो गए हम लोग. तो अल्लाह ने जिस बाइबल पे ईमान लाने का कहा है वो किधर है भाई? अगर ये वो बाइबल नहीं है तो आप वो बाइबल ला दीजिए, मैं उस पर ईमान ले आता हूँ, क्योंकि मैं तो मुसलमान ही नहीं रहता जब तक उस पर ईमान नहीं लाता. तो गिव मी द बाइबल विच इज़ नॉट चेंज. और अगर आपके पास नहीं है और यही बाइबल है तो प्लीज इस पे ईमान लाइए. Yeah, so this spiritual center will have Torah, Zabur, Injil, Quran, Gita, Guru Granth Sahib. These all spiritual books will be here. कोई spiritual book आपको नफरत की बात नहीं सिखाती. No spiritual book talks about differences, hatred. हमें अपने बच्चों को भी सही डायरेक्शन में लेके चलना है. So this is the most important part of this organization, which we and the younger generation should understand. I have 6 daughters and 1 son. I am worried about them. We are looking at, when we look around, just yesterday, September 11th went. What happened? कौन थे वो लोग? They were all Muslims. बड़ा आसान है डिनाई करना. इमरान खान आके यूनाइटेड नेशंस में प्राइम मिनिस्टर ऑफ पाकिस्तान बड़ी इजीली कह देते हैं कि जी इस्लाम हैज नथिंग टू डू विद टेररिज्म. यस, यू आर राइट. बट आपके जो टेररिस्ट हैं दुनिया के, उसामा बिन लादेन से शुरू हों और आईसिस तक आए, वो कौन हैं? दे आर ऑल मुस्लिम्स. यजीद कौन था दुनिया का सबसे बड़ा टेररिस्ट? मुसलमान था. तो हमें अपने सुन्नी, शिया और जितने फिरके हैं उन मुसलमान बच्चों को भी बचाना है इस कंटामिनेशन से. तो ये स्पिरिचुअल सेंटर की इसीलिए ज़रूरत है कि हम वो सारे रिलीजन्स को कनेक्ट करें. और लतीफ़ साईं का मैं एक बैत लेके इजाज़त दूंगा जिसमें वो आज से 350 साल पहले, शाह लतीफ़ सेज 350 years back, he talks about global village. United Nations is formed just 70 years old. But Latif Sahi gave this concept 350 years back. He said, "Mohabbati mede oth batje hikdo, tini je vede pane indo bacha." He says the people who have love in their hearts, we need to connect those hearts together. We need to connect those dots together. We have to build a global village. Mohabbati, the people who have love for each other. We just need love and respect. Mohabbati mede oth batje. Oth means village. We have to build a global village, a spiritual global village, where everybody is a member, where everybody is a family. Christians will be there, Hindus will be there, Sikhs will be there, Jews will be there. तो उस global village की ये बुनियाद है. और वो कहते हैं कि तिनी जे वेड़े पानी दो बाचा. When you connect the people who have love in their hearts, so God lives in the heart which is filled with love. So God is a part of that global village, where we have love and respect for each other. So please understand the importance of this organization. Aulia Council of, this is the one and only of its kind so far. So we have a huge responsibility. We have to tell to this community. I was talking to Tahira Appa that people might think हमारी चर्च पे कब्जा कर लिया आया सूफिया की तरह और उसको डिक्लेयर कर दिया कि जी ये टॉप हमारी मॉस्क है. People might think that they are converting the church into a mosque. No, this is not a mosque. This is a spiritual center. We love Jesus as you love. हमारा मोहब्बत हमारी अलग नहीं है आपसे. We need to tell the world. We love Hazrat Musa alayhi salam. We love Jesus. We love Guru Nanak. So this spiritual center will accommodate all the religions. और हमारे बच्चे जो कंफ्यूज हो रहे हैं आज, जो साइकाट्रिस्ट के पास जाते हैं टाइम लेने के लिए, जहाँ से कोई फायदा नहीं, और बड़ी फरमाइश करते हैं हमारे बच्चे कि प्लीज टेक अस टू द साइकाट्रिस्ट. हमारे पास we have complete solution to every problem, starting from the teenage problems. Please come here and discuss. Give us a chance. हम आपसे कोई फीस नहीं लेंगे। हम यहाँ पे जो काम शुरू करेंगे उसका मकसद ही ये है,
most of the people here, not just Persian or Arab or others, but children, and they don't understand Urdu at all.
Yeah, I know. Even my children do not. Yeah.
Who know? So please, everybody understands English.
I will bring my 6 daughters and 1 son along with my 2 cats which I brought from Pakistan when we had the first program of Karanda's last show. So we'll be here to talk and to sort out the problems which our younger generations are having. So please own this organization. We are not asking for millions. $1 दें, मगर दें. कनेक्ट हो जाएं. अपने अपने हिस्से का आप काम करें. प्लीज इसको ओन करें. आखिर में मैं आप सबके लिए दुआगू हूँ, क्योंकि ये वलियों से जुड़ी हुई ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है. तो जितने भी अल्लाह के वली हैं, क्योंकि हमने मसला है कि दीन जो लिया है वो हमने मौलवी से लिया है. हर जगह मौलवी पहुँचा हुआ है. शियों की भी इमाम बारगाह में मौलवी. आज मौलवी नहीं था, मुझे बड़ा अच्छा लगा, बड़ा अच्छा मौलवी. तो मौलवियों को रखते हैं इमाम बारगाह मस्जिद तक, जिसको जाने वहाँ जाए. मौलवीज विल बी देयर, priests will be in the church, and the temples will have their own spiritual leaders. But this spiritual center belongs to you and us and our younger generations. So we will open the Bible, we will open the Quran, and we will see what God wants us to learn. So I have a lot of prayers for you. आपको पंचतन की दुआएं आपके साथ रहें, और इस आलम का साया आपकी फैमिलीज पे रहे. You all stay blessed, and please pray for me.
A friend, scholar, and also a companion, a fellow traveler on this journey to this place, Raza Rumi, to come and say a few words.
Such an important and momentous day because I'm personally familiar with the entire journey that Dr. Mehdi Kazmi and his associates have been trying to undertake, and the word journey was mentioned so many times that it needs a bit more of elaboration. But I do want to also recall that one of our fellow travelers is no longer with us, Sadia Delvi, who was also part of this journey, and somebody who inspired us all and was fully into this project. Of course, she's left for another world, another station in her own journey, and I would like to remember her and start with her remembrance because she was how I got in touch with Dr. Mehdi in the first place. I wouldn't have known him otherwise, and obviously I met him. Maybe there's a purpose in the universe, some dots connect, and because this is something that I had always wanted to be part of since my own induction into the Sufi tariqah and the Sufi principles. And when I met Dr. Mehdi, I felt as if I found a partner of sorts. And of course, Dr. Tahira Naqvi and all other friends who are here were, they're like a second family. Asmi is here and Waqar Bhai is here. I had in fact visited Bhit Shah on Waqar Shah Saab's younger brother's invitation many years before we actually met. So all these dots connected somehow. So I think I just want to start, Waqar Saab has laid, used some beautiful words and illusions for what a spiritual center, what spirituality means, and I'd like to invoke the reference of a Khanqah and its importance. Khanqah or Taqiya or Zawiya as it's known in North Africa and the Arab worlds, and it serves a particular function in the history of Tasawwuf or Sufi Tariqa. A Khanqah is basically a place where you follow and adopt the Sufi Tariqa, where you learn the principles that the great masters and the Sufi sheikhs had enunciated, had laid out for everyone beyond the confines of organized religion, caste, creed, background, color, race, and that is how Tasawwuf became such an important part of our everyday lives. And the Khanqah serves, many functions. 5 of them I can recount. The first is individual solace. Khanqah
is attached usually to a dargah. And in the 21st century, we have so many dargahs around us, so many representatives from these shrines that we don't need a physical proximity. We can close our eyes and be at Ajmer or Bhicha or Sevan or Baghdad or where else. So a Khanqah attached to a dargah serves as a conduit for individual solace, for peace, inner peace, and the ability to search for it. Its second function, of course, is that of reformation. Reformation at an individual level, and reformation at a communal or a community level. And the third one, that it creates a community of practitioners. Once again, why Islam spread so fast in South Asia? It did not, the Muslim conquerors who ruled India for nearly a millennia did not rule to spread Islam through either power of their sword or through governance. It was through love, through the mystics, through the principles that the Sufis laid out. The Indian society was a casteist society afflicted by social divisions, which unfortunately it still is today. And the Khanqahs served as examples where the upper caste, the low caste, people from different faiths could be all together in a common worship, in a common spiritual pursuit. And that leads to the fourth function of a Khanqah, which leads to the communal and organized reformation and correction, through the teachings, through the adoption of certain principles of Sufi tariqah. The tariqah is literally the path, and that's why the word journey is coming in so many times in almost all the speeches. And finally, a Khanqah also serves as a place which has langar, and langar in both physical, as in distribution of food, but also as in langar of food for soul. So it's a continuous sadaqah-e-jariyah process that goes on for thousands of years. If you look at the big Khanqahs across the globe, in North Africa, in Arab world, in South Asia, in other parts of the world, it still continues. And this center, it has many names, is essentially, I think the inspiration comes from the concept and the idea of a Khanqah, how it would bring different faiths together, as Bakar Bhai has mentioned. It's not just for Muslims or for Shias or for Sunnis or for a particular sect. It's for non-Muslims, it's for Christians, it's for Jewish people, it's for Hindus, for Sikhs, because we all share so many common bonds, and above all the bond of humanity. And that is a fascinating and a extremely important idea in the climate in which our Muslim communities within the North America are existing. Yesterday was 9/11, Bakar Bhai mentioned that, and what has happened in the last 20 years with how Muslims are vilified or viewed in the mainstream American society as dangerous, threats to whatever. And of course, there's also an inward, paranoia within the community as well. So bringing everyone together, having an interfaith dialogue which Khanqah served in the yesteryears is a great, moment in our existence. Because after all, while we are inspired by ideas from our respective homes and places, but we live here. This is very much our geography and our present. And so, Dr. Kazmi deserves all the kudos for having it done. When he spoke about it 5-6 years ago, I was personally a bit skeptical. I said, I don't know whether it will be able, whether this organization would be able to pull something through. And, Brad mentioned all the hurdles, and I know, because I've had a weekly chat, every week I talk to Dr. Mehdi, and I heard of one obstacle or the other obstacle, and I think he's so blessed. He's so blessed by the saints, by his principles, by his love for the Sufis, by his mother and his amazing family. Dr. Kalina deserves a medal as well in this whole process of staying the course. And I think and of course Baba Farid by Lal Shahbaz Qalandar, Shah Abdul Latif Bhatai, I mean countless other saints. But I think what is also very important is that, finding his calling. I think at an individual level, we all go through phases and stations in our life, like in the Sufi path. And Dr. Mehdi has found that particular calling, that particular station where he wants to be. And let's pray that he stays the course and fulfills all the steps. There will be many, many hurdles, Dr. Mehdi. That's how Sufis have always struggled. And the journey, again, the idea of journey is a physical idea as well, because no Sufi master, no Sheikh ever, did not travel. They always traveled. They traveled from one place to other. Data Ganj Baksh Lahore came all the way from Ghazni in Afghanistan, went through different parts. Khaja Garib Nawaz traveled all over, the Middle East, parts of North Africa, and finally settled in Ajmer. We all have traveled here. We've all done migrations, and so migrations are essential to that particular idea. But there's also an inner journey, and that inner journey is actually the most important part of the Sufi tariqa, because you have to achieve different stations. I mean, there are 6 or 7 stations by which you go to the purification stage, and I think hopefully this center will enable all of us and all of those who interact here to follow those stations and to achieve our own tariqa. I will repeat what others have said. I think it is really important because of its communitarian importance, because of its communal nature, that we all support this initiative. We all support it through, of course, finances are very important to run this place. It requires an operational budget. We've distributed leaflets with account numbers. So please, donate as much. And of course, as somebody said, even if you give $1 or $10 or $100, do give. It's being part of the community. It's being part of the whole idea. But also volunteerism. We need volunteers for this place to hold events, to house guests, to host people who will travel from here and there, and to of course organize qawwalis and other forms of events which are linked to Khanqahs. So your volunteerism, your financial help, your material help will go a long way. We'll keep on reminding you gently, of course, to be part of this really important and unique project of its own kind. I mean, there are many other spiritual sectors. Unfortunately, spirituality has also been commodified in the US. It's become a kind of a mumbo-jumbo, hocus-pocus product on sale as you go to a mall and you can buy a mindfulness book or a tape or a CD. We aim to be different, we hope to be different, and we hope to bring in our respective traditions from the countries and regions where we come from. I also would like to finally, request that if you have ideas, we have a website, we have a Facebook page. We'll also circulate that. If you have ideas about events, about bringing in guest speakers, lecture series, please post your views there. You can email Dr. Mehdi Kazmi or any board member, and we will try and build a WhatsApp group as well, so that we all are interacting and we keep you updated with what is going on with the center. Everybody uses digital media now, and everybody has a smartphone, so it's very important to use that as a means of communication. I'll just end there, because I think many other things I wanted to say have already been said by all the friends here. I just want to read out a short poem by Ibn Arabi, who is of course a great master and of the Sufi tariqa. And following on what Waqar Bhai was saying, and it's a translation, it's a beautiful poem, otherwise in its original Arabic. My heart can take on any form. My heart can take on any form. A meadow for gazelles, a cloister for monks, for the idols, sacred ground, Kaaba for the circling pilgrim, the tables of the Torah, the scrolls of the Quran. My creed is love, wherever its caravan turns along the way. That is my belief, that is my faith. So let's hope this center advances the idea of interfaith dialogue, of love, of understanding each other, of knowing each other, and of sharing a common vision for the present and the future, for our children and for the generations to come. And let us not forget that why are these ideas important? These ideas are not important just for our individual prayers or obligations to God. We have mosques and churches and Imam Bargahs, I mean plenty of them in this region. It is the idea to propagate the mission of the Sufis. And why? Because we live in these troubled times of extremely polarized, divided, conflict-ridden times, and the idea of universal brotherhood, sisterhood, of peace, of tolerance, of respecting each other, of amity. That is what the Sufi masters always preach, of all schools and of all orders. You know, we are faced with a huge challenge of climate change. Our natural resources are waning. We can look at the weather patterns, and what do Sufis teach us? They teach us to work within our means, to live within our means, to follow qanaat, or to follow patience, to follow sabr, to follow gratitude. Things that we take for granted, we say them a lot, but we often forget to practice them. Gratitude is so central, patience and gratitude. And imagine if we were to be more patient and more grateful for what we have, maybe this earth and this planet could be a better place. So there are countless other things that I would have wanted to say, but I think I've already taken a long time. Thank you, Tayapa, for the patience. And once again, congratulations, Dr. Mehdi, a great milestone, and now another journey begins.
I think I'm just going to say quickly one thing, that reiterate what Raza has said, which is that we are encouraging an interfaith dialogue, but I'm not talking about sitting in smugly in drawing rooms across from Jews or Christians or people of other faiths and chatting. I'm actually saying let's do it. So do, show by doing, show and tell. You remember show and tell with the children? So let's show and tell that it's possible in this house of worship. I'm now going to ask Dr. Hussain Kamali to, he's the Imam Ali Chair at Hartford Seminary. Please say a few words to us about this project.
Assalamu alaikum. Good evening. This has been great to see that a spiritual center has been launched by our dear friends coming from different traditions, and it is an honor for me to be here with you. I will recite one surah from the Quran that we all have, that we all know by heart. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. إنا أعطيناك الكوثر فصل لربك وانحر إن شانئك هو الأبتر. This is a consoling revelation delivered to our prophet, to my prophet. I come from that tradition. Solacing him and telling him that we have given you plenitude. We have given you abundance, and that abundance is abundance of good, abundance of merit, abundance of faith, abundance of peace, abundance of goodness. إِنَّا أَعْطَيْنَاكَ الْكَوْثَرَ فَصَلِّ لِرَبِّكَ وَانْحَرْ. Connect with your God and bring offerings to your God. Whoever says you are without progeny shall remain issueless. So this is a promise, and let us make this center an embodiment of that promise, a promise of plenitude, a promise of goodness, a promise of pluralism and plurality. I represent an institution that is committed to interfaith work. I am personally committed to interfaith work, and I look forward to seeing many colleagues in your presence in conversation with you from the Jewish tradition, from the Christian Catholic tradition, from the various Protestant traditions, and from other seekers of meaning in this world. I personally come from the Muslim Shia tradition, and I am committed to that, and I take honor to be part of that tradition, but I look forward to learning from others to be part of this spiritual center and its activities. Thank you very much for having me up here.
I think we've come to the end of our speeches, and unless I think there is anything else. So we will close with a salam from Anwar Appa. There she is. And she will tell us just a little bit, thoda sa bataiega apne bare mein.
Assalamu alaikum and good evening. I think so it's time for good evening.
Okay.
So सबसे पहले तो ये कि काबिल तहसीन है डॉक्टर काज़मी साहिब और उनकी इंतज़ामिया या उनके जो उनके साथ चले इस सफ़र के अंदर मुबारकबाद के मुस्तहिक़ हैं कि उन्होंने खानक़ाह हुसैनिया सज्जादिया चिश्तिया फरीदिया का इनेकाद किया और अल्लाह ताला इसको बहुत आगे तक लेकर जाए और इसमें हम सब एक मोहब्बत की सिर्फ एक मोहब्बत की बात करें। रहा अब जो सलाम पढ़ा जा रहा है तो ताहिरा आपा ने कहा कि इसका थोड़ा सा बैकग्राउंड बता दीजिए। देखिए सलाम जो है वो नबी करीम सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम के लिए अल्लाह पाक ने कुरान पाक में फरमाया कि इन्नल्लाह मलाइकतहु युसल्लूना सल्लु अलैहि वसल्लिमु तस्लीमा कि सलाम यानी कि सलाम भी भेजो और दुरूद भी भेजो नबी करीम सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम पर, जैसा कि अल्लाह ताला भेजता है अपने फरिश्तों के साथ। तो सलाम हम जब पढ़ते हैं तो हम अपने रसूल सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम से मोहब्बत का इजहार करते हैं और ये एक अदब है, एक रेस्पेक्ट है सलाम करना। या जैसे हमारे यहाँ भी कोई बड़ा आ जाता है तो हम अदब से खड़े हो जाते हैं और आदाब करते हैं या सलाम करते हैं। तो मेरे आका हज़रत मोहम्मद सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम की ज़ात अक़दस एक ऐसी ज़ात, एक ऐसी हस्ती है कि दुनिया में उनसे बड़ी कोई हस्ती नहीं। तो सलाम पढ़ने के लिए बहुत सारे लोगों में कुछ यानी कि इत्तेफाक राय नहीं है। कोई कहते हैं कि हम बैठ के सलाम पढ़ लेते हैं, कोई खड़े होके, लेकिन मेरे नज़दीक अगर हम बड़ों का एहतराम करके सलाम के लिए खड़े हो सकते हैं तो क्या हम दोनों जहानों के सरदार के लिए नहीं खड़े हो सकते? तो आपसे इल्तिमास की जाती है कि सलाम के लिए सब खड़े हो जाएं और मेरा साथ भी दें। गो कि मैं कोई बहुत प्रोफेशनल नहीं हूँ, लेकिन प्लीज़ आप मेरा साथ दीजिए। सल्लल्लाहु अलैका या रसूल वसल्लम अलैका या हबीब अल्लाह या शफीउल वरा सलामुन अलैका या नबीउल खुदा सलामुन अलैका या शफीउल वरा الأنبياء سلام عليه سيد الأصفياء سلام عليه خاتم الأنبياء سلام عليه سيد الأصفياء سلام عليه واجب البقاء على المخلوق يا حبيب العلا سلام عليك يا شفيع البراء سلام عليك سيد الأصفياء سلام عليك ليلة أسرى به قالت الأنبياء مرحبا مرحبا سلام عليك يا شفيع البراء سلام عليك يا نبي الهدى سلام عليك آئیے آقا محمد یا نبی آئیے داتا محمد یا نبی آئیے مولا محمد یا نبی منتظر ہے یا محمد یا نبی سلام علیکہ صلی اللہ یا رسول سلام علیکہ صلی اللہ ہو عطا حیدر کا صدیقہ یا نبی فاطمہ اطہر کا صدیقہ یا نبی حضرت شبر کا صدیقہ یا نبی تشنا لب دلبر کا صدیقہ یا نبی سلام علیکہ صلی اللہ یا رسول سلام علیکہ صلی اللہ ازبع معین چشتی یا نبی بحر قطب الدین باقی یا نبی ازبع ذات فریدی یا نبی چشم رحمت صوف آسی یا نبی سلام यारे रसूल ये सलाम आजिज़ाना ओ कबूल अस्सलाम ऐ सब्ज़ गुंबद के मकीन अस्सलाम ऐ रहमतल लिल आलमीन अस्सलातु वस्सलामु अलैका या रसूलल्लाह अस्सलातु वस्सलामु अलैका या हबीबल्लाह अल्लाहुम्मा सल्लि अला मुहम्मद व अला आलि मुहम्मद कमा सल्लैता अला इब्राहीम व अला आलि इब्राहीम इन्नका हमीदुम मजीद अल्लाहुम्मा बारिक अला मुहम्मद व अला आलि मुहम्मद कमा बारकता अला इब्राहीम व अला आलि इब्राहीम इन्नका हमीदुम मजीद।
हमारा प्रोग्राम खत्म हो चुका है। मैं आपसे गुजारिश करूँगा, जैसे मैंने पहले कहा और हमारे दारुल अकादमी ने और मुख्तलिफ जो स्पीकर्स हैं यहाँ पर कहा कि आप लोगों की सपोर्ट बहुत, वी नीड योर सपोर्ट, वी डेस्परेटली नीड योर सपोर्ट। दिस प्लेस हैव टू सर्वाइव एंड सस्टेन, सो प्लीज start donating, whether you can do it today or later. We have information about the tax exempt number, we have tax exempt proposition, and donate as much as you can, as little as you can, please. Help us make this place sustain. Thank you so much.
कौन पढ़ेगा? You want Dave to recite? Yeah. पढ़ो यार, नहीं पढ़ो। एक सेकंड। अम्मी को लेके आए? आइए।
Let's get the sisters' hand. Let's get the sisters' hand. Let's get the sisters' hand. You want us to read it? Let's get the sisters' hand.
मोबाइल नोहा कौन पढ़ेगा? नहीं तो यहाँ पढ़े ना जोर से, ताकि मालूम है ना। चलिए
ये खत्म करने का والشمس تجري لمستقر لها ذلك تقدير العزيز العليم والقمر قدرناه منازل
यहाँ पे लगाइए ना,
सीधा निकलोगे, इसको ऐसे करना पड़ेगा। आगे बढ़ा है ना ये। मैं लेकर वो लाल अकादमी साहब के हाथ में लेके आइए। थैंक यू।
जी स्विच ऑन कर दो।
رزقكم الله قال الذين كفروا للذين آمنوا ونطعم من لا يشاء الله أطعمه إن أنتم إلا في ضلال مبين تنكرون متى هذا الوعد إن كنتم صادقين ولا يستطيعون توصية ولا إلى أصلهم يرجعون قالوا يا ويلنا من بأسنا من مرقدنا هذا ما وعد الرحمن وصدق المرسلون
إن كانت إلا شيئة واحدة فإذا هم جميع لدينا محضرون فاليوم لا تظلم نفس شيئا ولا تجزون إلا ما كنتم تعملون إن أصحاب الجنة اليوم في شغل فاقهون هم وأزواجهم في ظلال على الأرائك متكئون لهم فيها فاكهة وما يدعون سلام قولا من رب رحيم وامتازوا اليوم أيها المجرمون ألم أعهد عليكم
اس کو تھوڑا کھولیں گے یہ لفظ ذرا ریکارڈ ہو جائیں اور can you thank you
هذه جهنم التي كنتم توعدون اصلوها اليوم بما كنتم تكفرون اليوم تختم على أفواههم وتكلمنا أيديهم وتشهد أرجلهم بما كانوا يكسبون ولو نشاء لطمسنا على أعينهم فاستبقوا الصراط فأنا يبصرون ولو نشاء لمسخناهم على مكانتهم فما استطاعوا مضيا ولا يرجعون ومن نعمله ننقصه في الخلق أفلا يعقلون وما علمناه الشرع وما ينبغي له إن هو إلا ذكر وقرآن مبين لينذر من كان حيا ويحق القول على الكافرين ألم يروا أنا خلقنا لهم مما عملت أيدينا أنعاما وذللناها لهم فمنها يأكلون ومنها يأكلون ولهم فيها منافع ومشارب لا يشكرون واتخذوا من دون الله آلهة لعلهم ينصرون لا يستطيعون نصرهم وهم لهم جند محضرون فلا يحزنك قولهم إنا نعلم ما يسرون وما يعلنون أولم ير الإنسان أنا خلقناه من نطفة
جو آیتیں لے کر آئے اللہ سب کی پوری ہمارے بچوں کو توفیق ہمارے بچوں کو یہ دنیا آخرت قلم کے نیچے صاحب جینے کے ہو آمین 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 ان کا دامن پکڑی
سوری
الذي خلق السماوات والأرض بقادر على
یہ چاند تارے یہ پھول کلیاں یہ چاند تارے یہ پھول کلیاں حسین کا غم منا رہے ہیں حسین کا غم منا رہے ہیں یہ چاند تارے یہ پھول کلیاں یہ چاند تارے یہ پھول کلیاں حسین کا غم منا رہے ہیں حسین کا غم منا رہے ہیں یہ چاند تارے یہ پھول کلیاں یہ چاند تارے یہ پھول کلیاں حسین کا غم منا رہے ہیں حسین کا غم منا رہے ہیں جہاں میں سارے حسین والے جہاں میں سارے حسین والے جہاں میں سارے حسین والے حسین کا غم منا رہے ہیں حسین کا غم منا رہے ہیں خلیل کعبہ کہاں ہو آؤ خلیل کعبہ کہاں ہو آؤ خلیل کرب و بلا کو دیکھو خلیل کرب و بلا کو دیکھو حسین جلتی ہوئی زمین سے حسین جلتی ہوئی زمین سے حسین جلتی ہوئی زمین سے پسر کے میات اٹھا رہے ہیں پسر کے میات اٹھا رہے ہیں کہیں پہ اکبر سا گل بدن ہے کہیں پہ اکبر سا
है, जिगर के टुकड़ों से शाह वाला, जिगर के टुकड़ों से शाह वाला, जिगर के टुकड़ों से शाह वाला, ज़मीन मक़तल सजा रहे हैं, ज़मीन मक़तल सजा रहे हैं। न जाने ज़ैनब ने कैसे देखा, न जाने ज़ैनब ने कैसे देखा, अजीब मंजर वो करबला का, अजीब मंजर वो करबला का। हुसैन गिर गिर के उठ रहे हैं, हुसैन गिर गिर के उठ रहे हैं, हुसैन गिर गिर के उठ रहे हैं। तरफ के अकबर बुला रहे हैं, तरफ के अकबर बुला रहे हैं। ये चांद तारे ये फूल कलियां, ये चांद तारे ये फूल कलियां, हुसैन का गम मना रहे हैं, हुसैन का गम मना रहे हैं। या हुसैन 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 या हुसैन।
Let's go now for the dinner, the dance, please.
There's one more.
Read also, Aved bhai?
हाँ बिल्कुल बिल्कुल।
Just read it.
Hussein 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 Hussein
तुम्हारी लाश पे ज़हरा मेरे हुसैन हुसैन, कफन भी तूने न पाया मेरे हुसैन हुसैन। मेरे गरीब मेरे फाका कश मेरे प्यासे, मेरे शहीद तमन्ना मेरे हुसैन हुसैन, मेरे शहीद तमन्ना मेरे हुसैन हुसैन। मैं आई हूँ तुझे रोने को खुल्द से बेटा, मैं आई हूँ तुझे रोने को खुल्द से बेटा। मुझे दे उठ के दिलासा मेरे हुसैन हुसैन, मुझे दे उठ के दिलासा मेरे हुसैन हुसैन। बसी है शाम की बस्ती मदीनवी राह है, बसी है शाम की बस्ती मदीनवी राह है। मज़ार है मेरा सूना मेरे हुसैन हुसैन, मज़ार है मेरा सूना मेरे हुसैन हुसैन। पुकारी लाश पे ज़हरा मेरे हुसैन हुसैन, कफन भी तूने न पाया मेरे हुसैन हुसैन। मैं आई हूँ अभी मैं अशूरे के लिए 21 को वापस
कि अम्मा के साथ गई थी, खास तौर से मदीना. The strong